Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. Hey guys, it's Michelle here. Welcome back to Alive and Well. Excited to have you guys with us today. We're going to talk about that feeling of being tired, but wired. I don't know. Of all the nervous system states, this is probably the most frustrating one for me anyway. And when I slip into seasons where maybe I'm just not taking as good of care of myself as my body needs, or it's just a busier season, or there's a lot going on, or what have you. Sitting here in early June with May behind us, I'm willing to bet I'm probably not the only one that's been feeling a little tired but wired. Just getting to the end of the day and it's like I'm bone tired, like that exhaustion that just goes like so deep. But then the moment my head hits the pillow, it's like my brain gets a second wind, right? It's like my mind is racing and I feel fidgety and I'm just like tossing and turning and having a hard time sleeping. And I really want to sleep because I am beat, but I just can't settle down. And maybe you felt this way too. It's like you want to rest, but your body's just like, nope. It's like revolting. No, not yet. Or maybe it happens during the day. Like sometimes maybe you're trying to be more intentional about building in margin in your schedule, or just pausing during the day, or having some quiet moments to like take a breath, take a break. But then when you do, that doesn't really feel particularly relaxing either. It kind of feels antsy. And I know I've definitely been there. I'm like, okay, this week I know I need to build some margin in. Like I need to put some space between my meetings. I need my mornings to be a little slower. I need to cancel some evening stuff or what have you. And then I build in this space to like sit and pray or meditate or what have you, breathe. And then I just start feeling antsy and it feels like I should be doing something else. Or if I slow down, I'm just going to be further behind on everything else I have to do. And I'm guessing you can probably relate. And that's what it looks like to be tired, but wired. It's not that we're lazy. It's not that we lack discipline. It's not that we're broken. It's just that our nervous system is actually doing exactly what God designed it and what it's wired to do. And the problem is that we're just kind of stuck. And it feels like a paradox, right? So maybe let's just take a minute and talk about what's happening here in a nervous system capacity, because it does feel like a paradox because it's a mixed state in our nervous system. So what happens in the state of either like overwhelm's also a mixed state, or feeling like you're wired but tired, our body is experiencing both sympathetic and parasympathetic activity at the same time. So our sympathetic circuit of our nervous system is the fight or flight energy. A lot of activation, or that's kind of like the frenetic feeling of like go, go, go on the hamster wheel, got to get stuff done, fight or flight mode. And then the parasympathetic activity is like our body's break, right? Just kind of slowing us down. And when we're in the state where we feel like we're wired but tired, we're actually experiencing both of those states at the same time. And when I learned this was such like a light bulb aha moment for me, because I was feeling exhausted, right? And that's the collapse. That's the parasympathetic, the break of our nervous system kind of slowing us down. But my body was still scanning for threats and trying to make sure that everything was good and okay. And all my checklists were checked and all my I's were dotted and my T's were crossed, and keeping me in this gas pedal, like fight or flight energy, keeping me really alert, both at the same time. And this isn't just conceptual, you guys. This is biological. Like this is happening in your physiology, in your body. When we're feeling wired but tired, our body is running on adrenaline even when our gas tank is empty, right? It's like we're out of fuel, but our body's still pedal to the metal, like foot on the gas. And it's what creates that kind of paradox of feeling depleted and like you've got to go, get stuff done, kind of restless energy all at the same time. Our vagus nerve, you guys, this incredible like communication superhighway between our body and our brain, it's constantly scanning what's happening around us, trying to make sure that we're doing all the things we've got to do so everyone's okay, right? So it's always scanning for threats. If I don't send this email, what's going to happen? If I don't check my email, what's going to happen? If I don't respond to this text, what's going to happen? If I don't make sure my kids eat like entirely organic and all the things, like what's going to happen? And we're just constantly scanning for threats. We call that neuroception. And most of the time, it's always happening, but most of the time it's happening beneath our conscious awareness. We're not aware that our nervous system is constantly scanning for this. And if our body is perceiving any sort of threat, and again, we're not just talking about like an actual physical threat to our safety and survival. I'm talking about like everyday perceived threats, stress of a packed schedule, right? Chronic over responsibility, financial fear, even being over caffeinated, overpacked, like overstimulated lifestyle. It keeps us stuck in the sympathetic fight or flight circuit of our nervous system. And when that happens too long, you guys, our nervous system just doesn't get the memo that like, hey, we're actually not under threat. It's just an email or just a project or just a whiny kid. So let's kind of talk about how we get to this state of feeling wired and tired, this mixed state of our nervous system, because it's so flipping common among high achieving women. I've certainly experienced it. All of the clients that I've worked with have experienced it. The women inside of BRB talk about it often. And I think it comes from a lot of different places, but I think two of the main drivers that send us into this feeling of wired but tired, at the forefront, it's got to be hustle culture, which is also really tied to our identity. And I can't talk about it enough, but so many of us, and again, raise your hand if this is you, right? Like you can relate. So many of us were raised subconsciously to equate our worth, our worthiness, our value with our output, right? How much can I do? How much can I produce? How helpful can I be? How many problems can I solve? And that's going to ensure that the people around me value me. And it's a subconscious learning that slowing down is not really safe, right? Slowing down isn't okay. We kind of put these labels, if you will, or judgments on slowing down. Slowing down is lazy. Slowing down is indulgent. Rest has to be earned, right? Stillness. Like, who has time for that? And then our value subconsciously came, probably this has been groomed for a long time, right? This probably started in childhood and then was, amplified as we went into high school and then certainly college and then now and what our day-to-day looks like, that our value comes from all the things that we can do, not necessarily just like who we are. And when we try to rest now, it's just so uncomfortable because those patterns run deep, you guys. It feels wrong, right? To our nervous system, rest can even feel unsafe because our nervous system is just so programmed for performance. It doesn't know how to stop doing and just be. And if no one taught you how to downshift, how to slow down, how to actually rest and recharge, if there wasn't a culture of that in your home growing up, if you didn't see your parents doing that, like how would your body just know now? So you're in this constant hum of tension. It's just checking the emails on the weekends and needing the caffeine to get through the afternoon, even kind of like this background guilt running all day long of like, I should really be doing something, right? There's so much to do. I should really be doing something. And those are all signs that you can't get into a true parasympathetic, like rest and digest, recharge state. You're kind of buzzing in that survival mode all the time. And again, just to reiterate, as we go through what I think are some practices that can help you if this is like landing for you guys, you're not broken. Okay. Your body has just been patterned to do this. There's a reason. Your body is protecting you in the best way it knows how. Is your body tired? Yes, absolutely. Is your body also wanting to do all the things so, you can make people proud and feel productive and accomplished? Yes. And the good news is that safety is learnable. Okay. Regulation is learnable. Rest is actually a skill. It's not just this like innate thing that we're born with. Especially now, this day and age, we have to like push back against so many cultural norms, so counterculture to be someone who rests and prioritizes rest. It's a skill. And what does that mean? That means that we can actually practice it and get better at it over time. Okay. So let's kind of get into the meat of this. I want to talk about a few different practices for when you're feeling like you're in that wired but tired zone that are going to have a really high ROI for you guys. So if you're in that wired and tired state right now, here are some high ROI places to start. Okay, so the first one is really focused on the breath. Your breath, you guys, is one of the most powerful levers that you have to influence your nervous system. And it's free, obviously. It's immediate. You can do it anywhere. It's always with you. If you downshift your exhale, if you use your exhale, you can use it to downshift, if that makes sense. Here's how it works. When you exhale slowly and fully, that exhale actually activates the parasympathetic branch of your autonomic nervous system, that ventral vagal complex. This is part of your vagus nerve. And when you exhale slowly and fully, what you're doing is that you're signaling to your body, hey, we're safe. Hey, we're good, right? Hey, no one's going to get mad at us or judge us, or we're not going to get into trouble. We can rest. Now, our inhale and our exhale serve as different functions. Okay. We hear so much about like, take a deep breath, right? Something's triggering you. Take a deep breath. But really, it's the exhale that we want to focus on. The inhale is kind of like our body's gas pedal. The inhale actually activates our sympathetic nervous system. That's the fight or flight response. But it's the exhale that acts as the brake. It activates our parasympathetic regulation. And when you extend your exhale, let's say, for example, you're inhaling for 4 counts. Right? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And then you exhale for 8. Long, slow, extended exhale. You're essentially pressing on the brake of your nervous system. And you're gently guiding your body out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. And you can even hit pause and do this for a few rounds right now, right? Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Downshifting with your exhale. And it isn't just stress relief, you guys. You're actually retraining your nervous system to come out of chronic survival mode. And you can do it wherever you're at, right? Do it sitting, do it lying down. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 8, kind of like you're blowing through a straw. You can set a timer. Sometimes I'll just set a timer for like 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And I'll do this breath, softening my shoulders, right? Soften your belly, soften your jaw. All of that is indicative of a nervous system that's releasing its grip, and it can be so, so helpful for getting us to kind of just like downshift. So that's the first one. The second one, I know I talk about this all the time, but it's my favorite. Shake it off. Literally, shake it off. Does it feel silly at first? Yes, absolutely. I was actually doing a training with a group of people, a team in the UK that run a children's hospice. Amazing group. Like imagine people who their life's work is working with families whose children are in hospice. And I'm teaching them about the mind-body connection and regulating our nervous system, and starting to teach them somatic tools that not only they can use to discharge stress, because obviously a really stressful, or it can be a really stressful work environment, but that they can also share with the families of these children who are in hospice. And they're all in a conference room. And I had them get up and I put on a song, and for 2 minutes, we all just shook it off. Did it feel silly at first? Yes, of course. Like, they were all laughing. Everyone was so uncomfortable, but it's so deeply primal and it's so incredibly effective. Okay. In nature, I mean, think about animals in nature. Think about if you have even like a pet or a dog, right? When your dog, let's say, I always use this example because I saw it in real time. When we lived in Miami, there were, big iguanas all the time. My dog would see an iguana in the backyard. It didn't matter, like, if this was the 10th iguana of the day, same response. Dart out the back door, run after that thing, right? And the iguana freaks out and it jumps on the fence and climbs away or whatever. But all of that fight or flight energy that's like coursing through my dog, how does my dog release it? I didn't need to teach my dog how to complete the stress cycle. My dog just does that like dog whole shake, body shake thing, and then goes on with its day. And we're wired to do the same thing, you guys. Animals regularly discharge survival stress by just physically shaking. A deer, right, outruns its predator, it escapes, and then it does the same thing. It actually trembles. It offloads the adrenaline and the cortisol that it needed to survive the predator. But as humans, we're wired to do the same thing. But what do? We suppress that instinct because it's weird and it's uncomfortable and it looks silly, or we just don't know. That was me for the longest time. I'm like, I don't know how to discharge this adrenaline and cortisol that's running through my body. So I didn't release it, and it stayed stuck in my tissues. And what did it look like? It created muscle tension and fatigue and that buzzing feeling of being tired, but being unable to settle. And that's sympathetic energy with just nowhere to go. So when we shake, it activates our body's natural trauma and stress release mechanism, and it helps us to complete that stress response cycle, and it signals to our body, hey, the danger has passed, shake it off, and we're good to go. So you can do this. I can like step into the bathroom and do it. I'll do it with my kids. I'll do it in my office. But just stand, put on a timer, or even better yet, put on one of your favorite like high energy songs and just start gently shaking. Just start shaking out your hands, right? Then start shaking out your arms, your shoulders, your legs, your hips, like whatever feels good. Make sure you're breathing through it, right? Not overthinking it. You might feel like tingly or warm. You might even have emotions that come up. All of this is normal, and it's your nervous system's way of discharging stored energy. Is it gonna feel awkward at first? Probably. But let me tell you, it's worth it and it works. And you're actually doing something really ancient that your body knows how to do, right? We're wired to discharge stress in that way. So that's the second one. The third one is creating micro-safe moments. Micro-safe moments. This one again, or not again, but also is kind of subtle, but it's so powerful. And it's where so many of my clients start, especially when rest or when stillness really feels uncomfortable. And there's probably a lot of you that are like, I can't. I like sit for 10 minutes doing nothing. You've got to be kidding me, right? But here's the truth. If your nervous system has been stuck in survival mode, safety might not feel safe yet, right? Safety might not feel safe yet. It's not a mindset issue either. This is a physiological response. So when I talk about quote unquote creating safety, I'm not talking about bubble baths, I don't know, all the self-care stuff we hear about ad nauseum. I'm talking about giving your body cues that you are not in danger, because it's only when your body actually feels safe that your nervous system will shift into the state where you can relax, properly digest, sleep, truly rest, right? And that's the essence of neuroception that we talked about earlier, a body's subconscious scanning for threats versus safety. So if your environment is loud, which if you're raising kids like me, a lot of times my environment is loud or chaotic or overstimulating or even just emotionally intense, right? Maybe you're at work and there's just like a lot of stress, or you have a coworker or a boss who's like really difficult or what have you. Your nervous system's going to brace. It only makes sense, right? We brace when we're faced with something that feels threatening. So what can we do? We can create these micro safe moments, which just means intentionally layering on these little cues of safety for our body. So instead of having harsh, like fluorescent lights in your home, in your bedroom, in your office, like, can you adjust the lighting so it's just a little softer, right? Cozier. Can you use lamps? Can you bring a lamp into your office instead of using like the fluorescent lights they have there? Or at home, right? Can there be a certain time of day where the overhead lights, like all the light switches go off and we just have some like nice cozy lamps? Can you get a salt lamp for your bedroom maybe, or just something that is softening in the lighting? That's a micro safe moment. Can you, if this is helpful for you, maybe finding like a weighted blanket or just putting your hand on your chest, that kind of pressure or weight really brings a sense of safety to our nervous system. So does warmth, right? Make yourself a hot tea, take a warm shower, take a hot bath. Those are micro safe moments for our body. Same thing with sounds, right? Instead of having the TV playing in the background or something, the kids shows or loud something music, like maybe it's like, okay, after 6 p.m., it's just calming music or nature sounds or worship music or like what have you, that really brings micro safe moments. Even like things that can help build predictability and a little sense of control. Oh, that feels so safe for your body and your nervous system. Turn the notifications off, right? Silence the phone, put it in another room, say no, set your boundaries. Just pausing a few times during the day and asking yourself, like, check in, man, what is something right now that would make me feel just a little like, what would be soothing right now? And then trust whatever the first answer is that comes to you, right? Dim the lights, play your favorite song, put your hand over your heart, step outside and get some sunlight on your face. These are micro signals that are going to help rewire your neuroception toward safety. And then what happens is that over time, you'll actually start to begin to associate stillness with comfort instead of tension. You just rewire that association altogether. And then the last one, and this kind of goes with the micro safe moments, is that it's not like an all or nothing thing, right? I'm not asking you guys to start incorporating this really long, complex, like stillness practice. Titrate it. Titrate stillness. It's important, especially for those of us who are used to going hard and going fast, right? And you might think like, if I want to feel better, I'm going to need to sit down and have a 30-minute meditation practice. If you already do that, like good on you, kudos, clapping for you, awesome. For the rest of us, that feels like a lot. And if your nervous system doesn't trust stillness yet, that can actually backfire because it feels overwhelming. It feels unsafe. It's not good. Stillness can feel really threatening when your body has learned that movement is what I need to be good. Okay. Movement feels safe. Movement is where people love me, right? Movement is how I get things done. Movement is survival. When we've been in that pattern for a long time, stillness feels really uncomfortable. And that's why we titrate. And it's the idea of titration is a trauma-informed practice of just introducing something new in this like really small, digestible dose. So instead of trying to jump from like super chaotic mornings to waking up early and having this long meditation practice, ease into it, right? Just like you wouldn't go from, sprinting to a dead stop without a cool down, or how you wouldn't go from your couch to a marathon, you might go from your couch to a 5K. We don't go from hypervigilance to Zen without training our system how to feel safe in the transition. So start small, right? Start small. Can you set a timer for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and just sit somewhere comfortably with no screens and no noise, and put your hands somewhere grounding, put your hands on your chest or on your thighs or even on the floor, and just gently notice what you feel. And maybe there's still restlessness or tension there. That's okay. That's actually normal and predictable. You're not trying to find this like emptying of your mind. You're just letting your body practice what it's like to be still. And just like you would with, a running like protocol or a workout routine, like you can increase the time that you spend in stillness over the weeks ahead. And as your nervous system builds capacity for stillness, it'll get easier. And it's just slow work, you guys, but let that be okay. It's sacred work. You're rebuilding trust between you and your body. This isn't just physical. Honestly, all of this, it's so spiritual. Like an invitation to rest is sacred. We weren't designed to hustle all the time, right? We were actually made to live in these rhythms, these ebbs and flows, the inhale, the exhale, right? Work and rest, work and recharge, work and restore. So if rest feels really hard for you, like just let yourself, like give yourself some compassion right now, because you're just learning. You're just learning a new rhythm, and God's grace is going to meet you right there in that pause, in that breath, in that in between. Okay. I'm believing this was helpful. Before I leave you guys today, don't feel like you have to go do these 4 things tomorrow. Okay. Can you just choose one for the week? What feels the most doable for you? Is it going to be focusing on your exhale and using that to downshift? Is it going to be trying shaking this week, right? Maybe when you start to feel activated or you're feeling like you're in that tired but wired state, can you put on a song and shake it out and then see what you notice in your body and your nervous system? Maybe it's starting to schedule in some of these micro safe moments, right? I'm going to set a boundary, and at this certain time, the lighting goes down and the sounds go down, and I make myself a cup of tea and I sit under a cozy blanket or whatever that looks like. Or maybe it's titrating the stillness, right? All right, every day this week, before I have lunch, I'm going to sit for 2 minutes, hand on my chest, and just notice my breath. And then after a week, I'm going to notice, right? Has it gotten easier or more comfortable to do that? Can I add on another 30 seconds? Every breath you guys take is really an intention to step back home. All right, that's what I've got for you today. Thanks so much for being here. If this helped, if this spoke to you, if it landed, if it resonated, go ahead, share it with a friend, maybe someone else who could use the tools in this episode. I would be so grateful. And then if you haven't already, go ahead and grab the free nervous system reset guide. The link for it is in the show notes. So much good information in there. And I also share 3 of my favorite somatic practices, these body-based tools that you can actually start using today to start downshifting the state of your nervous system. So when you're feeling tired, you can actually rest and help yourself kind of ease out of this wired but tired feeling. All right. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
Thanks for listening to Alive and Well. If today's episode resonated, would you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and short review. It really helps to get this show out to other people just like you who could also use the information in this podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step in regulating your nervous system, download my free nervous system reset guide. It's linked right in the show notes. Inside, you'll find simple body-based practices to help you feel more clear, calm, and connected starting today. Make sure you're following the show so you don't miss out on what's coming next, because you were made to thrive. Fully alive, fully present, and fully well. I'll see you soon.